This is the first part of what will probably be 5 videos that we're going to create. I'm John. I'm at Something from the Farm. We're going to be growing industrial hemp this year. So we've bought a few pieces of equipment from Holland, a transplanter and a bed mulcher. So I'm going to be building the transplanter today, and my lovely camera assistant Leah is going to help me with that. This is the instruction set that came with the Mulch pot planter model 1265. I've read it over. It kind of seems pretty straightforward, so I think I'm not going to go through all the details. Step 1, of course, is uncrated. I've done all that. I'm not going to bore you with that. So I'm going to mount the diamond toolbar hitch to the planter and pick up the planter. That's next. That's first, I should say. Pretty simple process. We just picked it up. Leah slid the bar through for me. That's what it looks like. It's got some stop in it like this. It's got a little bit of rock to it. And as the instructions say, put in the cotter pin. Farmer. We'll hook it up to the tractor and see if there's any modifications. This is shorter than that. That's why this one's bottoming out.
It's probably upside down.
Upside down? What do you mean?
This is probably supposed to be up here, and this is
it's
supposed to be
symmetric.
Here. Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh, is there another piece?
All right. Well, like all good projects, there's something always wrong. It looks like Holland shipped us 2 different clamps. So I'm gonna have to get some washers to stack it up here to take up the slack. So I don't think it's any big deal, but this left side's giving us some static, so we'll get her rigged up and get her lifted up. Well, I found a couple of washers, got them put on the bolts and got her snug down. Now it's not tight yet. We're not going to torque it way down, but now we're going to lift it for the first time and see how it works. I'm not quite sure about this hitch, but we'll give her a go. Okay, step 3, rear axle drive wheel. See diagrams A. Alright. That's the rear axle drive wheel. So there's 2 rectangular tubes that go into a couple of clamps, and we're going to have to pull that off. Alright, I think it's these 2 things right here, and this thing. This is some kind of drive mechanism, I guess. Figure that out. Alright, so I'm going to start up the noisemaker and lift this thing up and get these pieces out and see if these directions play out. Remove the left rear axle from the unit frame. Yeah, so that's going to have to come out of there. Wow! Yeah, slipped them in. Also figured out our dilemma with these sliding of the post through the clamps is these things are fixed to the frame with these 4 bolts. We loosen these 4 bolts, so now these sleeves can align with the orientation of the post and slid right up. So I stopped cussing Holland after I figured that out. Remove the rear axle, slide the 2 square pound, beat the crap out of 2 square axle supports, 1 and 2, up from the bottom of the clamp. Place the drive chain around the sprocket and the disc. Bolt the drive sprocket bracket 6 to the hub of the wheel. Thread on tread on tire should be in the opposite direction of the rear tractor wheel. Place the wheel with the drive sprocket bracket attached onto the axle. Okay, so this is all this stuff right now. Alright, this must be the drive chain, and that's the master link. Deal with that later. This, some kind of chain tightener. It doesn't show a chain tightener in plans here. See, it just shows a straight shot across there. It's got a lot more posts sticking up on the top than we've got, so, and we're gonna have to go up a long ways for it to reach through there, so we'll do a little more adjusting here. So we got the chain hooked up. This is, the tensioner is not shown in the instructions, so I'm not quite sure. I think the chain evidently sets the length of all of this and this angle, and this is what we ended up with. This is the combination that got us around this. I'll probably end up taking this tensioner around it after I get everything secured down, but I'll end up just taking this off and threading it through and hooking it in that way. And I think that's the way it's designed with these collars. You loosen that, slide it out, rotate it, bring it back, and let it hold the tension in the chain. But I think this sets the height. So I'm going to go ahead and snug these all down and start working on that wheel. Victory. And now, okay, tread, see, bolt the drive sprocket bracket to the hub of the wheel. And the drive sprocket bracket is that thing right there. Now, where this is on the axle, I've just got it centered up with the center line of my tire, and seems to be appropriate. That seems a little canted though, doesn't it? I think we're going to have to do some cattywampus adjustment here. See how it's kind of towed out there? We'll have to adjust these bars with these pieces and get it kind of lined up. But I think in principle it's pretty well lined up, so it'll be driving right in the tire pack. So I'm just going to go ahead and tighten this tire down where it is. Yeah, how about that? And then you drop the plan in. Alright. Idler wheel. I don't have an, let's see, idler wheel. Single drive wheel model. See photo C. So I've got that idler wheel over there. In most cases, the idler wheel 1 and the upright tube 2 are assembled as a unit at the factory. It is turned in for shipping to save space. Loosen the set screw, remove the entire unit, turn it around and reinsert it into the horizontal. Adjust sideways on both to follow the same tracks as the tractor. Yeah, that's right. Okay, got that part. This will give you a more uniform planning depth if your planner did not have blah blah blah. Okay. Alright. I don't know if that's the right height or not, but close enough for now. Take slack out of drive chain. Position yourself behind the planner. Grab the drive wheel and pull toward you until the drive chain is tightened. Back off about a ½ inch slack. Do not over tighten the chain. Over tightening chains will cause wheel slippage. At this point, tighten and secure all the bolts, including the rear axles, drive wheel, and idler wheel bolts. Don't have any deep 1.5 inch sockets, so I'm using my 5" and a extension to get that tightened. But so back here we had trouble getting the chain tight and keeping the wheel aligned. It was kind of towing out a little bit, which is a little bit concerning. So let me come back here and show you what I did to, I think, prevent that tow-in issue that we were having. Okay, the instructions say, you know, let's keep about a ½ inch of slack in there. So I think that's probably what they mean by a ½ inch of slack. The other thing I noticed is that translate on this axis, and I think the axle, I'm going to move it out a little bit, and then move this out a little bit too, because it's tight in against there, and I don't have any slack. So we'll make those adjustments off camera. But one of the things that was happening is when I tightened these clamps down, I was drawing everything in. Hey, Jethro. So what I ended up doing is putting that little washer in there to space out, or to sort of move this whole clamp assembly out a little bit, and that brought that tire in alignment. So now if you sight down, that it looks pretty straight. If you look at these flat bars here, they look a little bent to begin with, and I don't know if that was by design. Maybe my spacers will end up coming out, but right now that's the way it looks, and everything's tight and holding together. It's going to finish torquing down these bolts in the front, and we'll get on to packing wheel install. Step 7. Packing wheels photo D. Okay, and diagram D. Okay, packing wheel. See diagram D info. The packing wheel assembly attaches below the rear of the main frame. Attach the pivot arms to the bottom of the main frame by inserting 2 5/8 pivot pins through the square tube on the main frame. Slide the pre-assembled packing wheel assembly onto the pivot arms, 1, and tighten set screws. All right, I think I know these right there. Okay, those 2 things are right here, independent. Adjust the packing wheels for both distance between them and plant clearance, as well as the angle of slope. Plant packing. We suggest that you begin with the bottom of the wheels about 3 inches apart. I think that's about right. At about 60-degree angle. Make the adjustments for your desired packing soil once in the field. The weight bracket, this thing, we'll put a 5-gallon pail in there. Add soil in the pail until the right amount of weight is applied to the wheels to ensure the desired amount of packing soil around each pot. To ensure the desired amount of packing of soil around each pot. Okay. So I think this is sort of a real-time adjustment that we'll do. So I'm just going to go ahead and cinch this down so it won't go anywhere. Let me run and get my crescent wrench. Attach the seats. Attach the seats. Step 8. Attach the seats to the support bar with 4 bolts furnished for each seat. The only difference between the fiberglass and standard equipment and cushion seats optional is the fiberglass has built-in bolts, while the cushion seats has nuts and recess for the frame. Alright, that should be pretty straightforward. That's going to be a lot like the other one that we had. So we use these fiberglass seats. When they sit in the sun for a while, they start to kind of break down and get a little itchy. So we always put those lawn chair cushions on them. Makes it a little bit more comfortable. So anyway, we'll stop filming. We'll get this infrastructure put in and come back when the seats are on. Like soda water? Yeah, he just lost his buddy Milo. He had Milo for a long time. Alright, took me a while to figure this out. You know, you pull these little black protectors off, and looking at this going, it's not a 1/4-20 screw. What the heck is that? It was just some kind of protection. When they molded these screws into place, I guess they put these in as inserts into the mold when they shoot the table or when they shoot the chair. So I think it's a kind of interesting thing. So you doesn't say anywhere in the instructions to do this, but we're smart, so we figured this out. Anyway, so we'll get these mounted up and put on there, and maybe resume tomorrow, because for Colorado, it's supposed to be kind of warm in February, but it's been cold. I think next week it's supposed to be below 0. Something coming in from Nebraska.
Woo!
X cubed grows faster than X squared.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So, lovely Leah Cameron lady just showed up. So, remember the assembly of our transplanter. We got it working. We'll do some more fine-tuning stuff We took a couple of the planting spades off because we're only going to be planting on 42-inch centers when we do this hemp, and I can see that there's something wrong already, but that's okay. But the one thing that we noticed about this thing, and Holland, you need to think this through better, is that there's no footrests, right? So you jump up there and your feet hang down and yucky. So I got some L brackets that my son gave me from a construction job, and he made some great foot brackets. I'm getting ready to paint them, but basically, you know the routine. I just drilled a couple holes and a backing plate that match them. I'm going to prime it and paint it so it looks official. Boom!
Look at that.
Footrest. So when you're planting hemp plants, 9,000 hemp plants, then you'll feel a lot better. Alright, so we'll get these painted up, we'll get them attached, we'll get the water tank on. This has to be moved. We have to move it to the other side, and then we're going to put a little rails out here to put a car seat on so my granddaughter, Olivia, who's 2? Is that right? Is she 2?
I think so, yeah, 2.
She'll ride in the car seat and her mommy will ride here. That'll be kind of fun to watch. Alright, and we're just putting some finishing touches on these foot rests for the planter. And this is an EPA and OSHA certified paint booth. If you don't believe me, well, you can always ask my buddy Charlie. Alright, so we got the seats on. If you remember right, there were these little molded nubs that were in there, but we're smarter than the nubs, and they just pulled right out. So then I was able to get these seats mounted. They're fiberglass, so if they sit in the sun long, they're going to get all crusty, but I think we got them right. So we're going to put little cushions on there that we have on some of our lawn chairs. So, yay!
3 days later.
Okay, well, I think I have the thing all together. I don't have the steel trays on top because I still might have to do some debugging in there for height setting, and it's a lot easier to work without those trays on. But like I talked about earlier, I got the water barrel up on some stilts just to get a little more head going into this valve. And then I've got a shutoff valve here because it almost always fails when the metering valve is open. Right? So that's the metering valve there. So whoever's planting can reach up here real quick and shut that off and keep and stem the flow of water, because as you can notice, it's a baby little tank here. It needs to be a 200-gallon tank, but only put 155 gallons on it. So I rototilled a strip in the field, and so we're going to go out and test with this thing, just kind of dry fire it and see how it penetrates the dirt. And then we'll put those trays on and fire it up and stick in some hemp plants.
There we go.
Okay. Sorry about the noise in the background, but we're debugging the metering valve here. We're pulling it full of water right now for the first time. And so when I come over here, this little valve works on a plunger. So it plunges out a metered amount of water each time. And when this comes back down, it's not seating, so it's leaking a little bit. So this spring is designed to put a little more tension on that. So I was lifting up on that. I need to shorten the spring by about half, and that should shut the water off into that thing. So we'll see. YouTube etiquette training.
Oh, we're YouTubing.
We have YouTube etiquette training classes.
Hi.
That talk about when the talent, that'd be me,
Uh-huh.
is talking, then everybody else is quiet. And that's like rule 1.
Got it, guys?
That's YouTube etiquette.
Do we need makeup?
Lights. We need lights. All right, well,
You're doing great.
so we got an epic sort of understatement of physics here. So we've got 55 gallons up here. What is that, 8 pounds a gallon? So 5 times 8 is 450 pounds. It's acting like a big lever arm, and it's way too heavy. So we're going to turn it around so the CG of that weight is on this side, so the planter doesn't get all cattywampus like
And
that.
it's gotta be centered.
Yeah, we think it's going to be centered, so I'm going to move all of that to the center. Now the problem is that I wanted to be able to see it planting. And I don't know if that water barrel is gonna
Well, I can drive and
lock,
you can
right?
be...
So, but look at, I got the gauge wheel completely off the ground. The frame's not even stiff enough to hold it. So what we'll do now is we'll take it back up. We'll drain this tank, 55 gallons of water, to something, or we'll water some trees, and then move it all over, and then try again.
YouTube star, you know.
So it's inch and a quarter. I got
Wherever
the
he says
information.
goes.
And-
Yeah, I mean, it's good. I just didn't want to. Yeah, well, it's got you.